Oh boy, this is going to be a big one. This is going to be long. Good morning, gamers. Wow, it's been a long time since I've done that one, I feel like. And also, it's been a really long time since I've been in this world. But today, we're back. Minecraft Guide Season 3, the finale. Today's episode is a tour. We're going to go around the world and take a look at everything that we did in this series. After this episode, it's done. It's gone forever. A tragic moment for sure. I'm super excited for today's episode because some of the stuff that I'm going to take a look at in this episode, I haven't seen it in like a long time. Like, for some of the projects that we've done in this world, I did the projects, and then because it wasn't very useful, I never came back to it. Today's episode is a tour. If you've seen the tours inside of this world, then you know how it goes. We're going to take a look at the builds, talk about the builds. On screen, when we're looking at the builds, you'll see a number slide in, kind of like this right here. That number corresponds to the episode where we started working on the build, or like mainly worked on whatever build we're taking a look at. If you're interested in the build, you want to see more about it, then go to the playlist. It's on the end screen of this video, or a card on screen at some point in the video, I'm sure, and check out the episode. I'm sure there's even more about the build inside of that episode. 100%. For today's tour, I made a backup of the world, so if anything tragic happens, doesn't matter at all. It's just a backup. Before we jump into the tour, a couple thank yous. I'd like to send a thank you to you/Vexnot for the logo of this series that I rolled in every single intro. I made the intro, Vexnot made the logo. A significant scale shout out to Bees over on Twitter for the beautiful skins that you saw in this series. I think when I started the series, definitely it was with the skin that I made, maybe. But eventually I upgraded the skin. When I upgraded the skin, it was Bees' work. The watl skin right here, also Bees' beautiful work. So huge thank you to Bees, and thank you to my patrons for the support. The support helped me create the series, and then finally, thank you to all of you for watching the series, enjoying it, just taking it in. It really kept the series alive, and it made it really fun to make. One of my favorite things about making the series was dropping an episode and then just looking through the comments to see what everyone had to say about it, like the orb over there, the crazy cosmics, any of the builds in the world, just in general. Loved reading the comments, all of the feedback, so thank you. Wait, what is that feeling? Oh no, I think I'm gonna cry. It's a sentimental day, okay? Leave a like for the series, subscribe if you're new, and down below, comment your favorite 3 projects that we did in this entire world. Enjoy the tour. World Spawn, we're back. Disclaimer, World Spawn is really nothing special. We basically did essentially nothing at World Spawn until relatively recently. A little bit more recently, we came back to Spawn and set up a house and a farm at Spawn, you know, just in case. But yeah, World Spawn, it's on top of this hill. I think right now, we're actually right behind the house that I set up. Yeah, definitely. This is the backside of the house, but we have a farm here, and we have a small house. Now, I started this world on September 4th. 2020, that's when the series began, and then today is when the series is ending. It's been a long time. This has been my longest series by far. Inside of this house, we have a couple items to signify the other bases in the world, and the coordinates where they are. This is going to be really, really useful. Now, there's a world download down in the description. If you want to check out the world, check it out down there. I'm probably going to leave all of my major stuff at this spot at World Spawn. So World Spawn, these coordinates right there. If you're looking for gear, like all of this stuff right there, this is where it is. But yeah, like I said, not too much really going on over here at World Spawn. It's like a small base in a way. I really just wanted to get things set up in case of a tragedy. Then I would have like wood and food to get myself back going. But yeah, that's really it for World Spawn. Next up, we need to go to the Flower Forest. The Flower Forest was the first major base of this series. In case there's a particular part of the world that you'd like to go back and relive in all of its glory, douse yourself in immersion, maybe shed a few tears, I split the video into a couple different segments. So each segment is basically kind of like based off of what we're looking at. So for example, Spawn, the Nether Hub, things like that. So the video is split into sections, and then also the episode numbers on screen. So, over here, the Flower Forest base. This is one of the final things that we did to the Flower Forest base. And also, I think this was the very first spawner farm of the entire world. This is a very simple farm. You know, spawner behind here. Now it is tinted glass for sure. A spawner right in there. I think it's a zombie farm. They go up, they fall, you know, then I take them out. And then over here, we have stuff. I think at one point, I maybe planned on moving a villager to this spot. But then, I really didn't move one here. And also, I basically never used this thing. I like set it up, and then I think shortly after I ditched the Flower Forest base. Like, yeah, that was that. Also, I just realized this. Look at that rock right there. Oh, it's so sad. Even the cliff is sad about the series ending. The zombie spawner that we were just taking a look at is connected to the Flower Forest base, so I'm counting it as part of the thing with a path. The path breaks up right in here. I always meant to come back in here and do something, but like, how do you make a path on the sand? There should be like sand path or something. I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah, so the path is connecting to that thing. The first cave that it was in, I think it was like right over there. Pure nostalgia right there. But spawn base, a flower forest. When I was starting the series, I always wanted to live in a flower forest. I think this was the very first time, like ever, that I ever set up a base inside of a flower forest in like a long-term serious world. and I liked it. Like, the flowers all over the place. 10 out of 10. I would recommend it. 10 out of 10. I would absolutely do it again. This is the first food farm of the world. So much food early game came to this thing. It's a machine, an absolute unit. All over this world, there are cow crushers. Cow crushers are beautiful, they're great, but honestly, they're not even the best food thing. I always meant to build some kind of hoglin farm thing in the nether, but it's just one of those things I never got around to. There are a lot of things that unfortunately we never got to do in this world. So the Flower Forest base, here we are. This is where basically everything started. I mean, other than an exception for a technicality of world spawn, this is where it started. Down in the description of this video, if you're interested in the shader, is the name of whatever shader I end up using for the flyover. The Flower Forest. Here, the theme was peace. Minecraft Guide Season 3 is, well, like the name says, Season 3 of the guide. Before this season, there were 2 seasons. By far, not even close. When I built this house right here, this was my favorite house that I had ever built out of any of the guide series, any world that I ever built. I just love this thing. It's so simple, and it really captured exactly what I was going for. Small kitchen in here, of course, the checkered floor. We love it, we love it. And then honeycomb ceiling up there. Honeycombs were relatively, well, yeah, relatively new. To be honest, I didn't know what to do with the ceiling. Living pure luxuriously, there's a side balcony right here that I really never went onto. Over here, enchanting room, very, very small, and a map up there. The look, it's fully filled in. That's amazing. And then up top, we have the storage room with things still inside of it. Oh, wow. Yeah, those are things for sure. Yeah, I guess I really never finished moving everything out completely. The armor, like, that's actually pretty significant. Horses are one of those things that we never got around to in this world. In the next series that we'll be getting after 1.18 drops, which is dropping on November 30th, we're going to try to do a lot of the things that we never got to, like the Ocean Monument project that I was literally just gearing up to do. Unfortunately, never got around to it. Maybe that'll be one of the first things that we do in the new world. That could be kind of cool. So over here at the Flower Forest, really, that's basically it. There's a mine down there. I'm pretty sure it's just a plain mine. I don't think I really ever did anything with it. And then over here, behind here, is some kind of operation, we will say. It is not entirely legal. It is an operation. That's the Flower Forest base, though. To travel around this world, the Nether Hub. The Nether Hub system in this world is basically fully finished. It's the first time I ever set up a Nether Hub system in a world and actually pulled through with it. I'm really happy with this Nether Hub system, too. Hopefully, in the next world, I make something even better than this, but, like, this is going to be hard to top. I really like this Nether Hub. So seeing as this is the Flower Forest base, this is basically where the Nether originated. If we go down this ladder, this is like basically all of the Nether for like the longest time that I would experience. There's a gas, which no, we're not going to do that right now. I'm a little busy. Please just go. The last time we were here is when we were hunting for gas tiers, so really not that long ago, relatively speaking at least. If we were to go down this ladder, it takes us to the ancient debris mine, absolutely obliterated, nothing to see down there, so we're not going to go there. The Nether Hub. The main way to get around this Nether Hub system is boats, ice roads, and boats all over the top of the Nether. We're really, really high up in the Nether, which makes this thing insanely safe. The Nether Hub goes basically everywhere. I mean, I feel like it would only make sense. If we're going to talk about the Nether Hub system in this world, we need to start with the central part of it, this piece right here. This is the heart of the entire Nether Hub system. Common theme today, this is my favorite central piece of a Nether Hub that I've ever built. Same with like a lot of the things that I did in the series. I like it. It's a circle, square portals in the middle to take us to the jungle. It's pretty cool. And also a way down, which is where we're going to go right now. If we go down this ladder, this will take us to even more of the Nether, except this time, the ladder is actually safe. We don't have to worry about gas or anything like that. Down this ladder is actually something that I always forget about inside of this world. It's the Strider Bay. The Strider Bay was another update thing that I built. When the series started, 1.16 was the main update, so like the theme was kind of like Nether stuff and things like that. If we go down here, the Strider Bay is basically a house on the lava ocean in case I ever need to move Striders, and you know what? I'm realizing something. That Strider has a saddle out there. What are you doing, my guy? I don't even remember what I named these things, but there's a you have a saddle. I'm pretty sure you're probably meant to be over here, but then again, I mean, there are two. What are you even doing? I mean, you do you. The Strider Bay. This is the Strider Bay. It's just a small room for really Striders getting to leave. And I think a tragedy happened here at some point. Yeah, the door. The door got chopped down, and I never fixed it. So just pretend there's 2 doors there. Strider Hub. And I think this goes down to a mine? You know, where does this thing actually go? Where does this go down to? A room with a hallway. Oh, yes, a mine, for sure. I was probably looking for ancient debris here. In terms of the aesthetics of the Strider Bay, one of my favorites in the entire world. I really like how the house turned out. I like the vibe with by the lava and everything, and then the Striders. I mean, Striders are so cool. The Strider is probably one of my favorite mobs that has been added to the game more recently because it's just completely out there. Like, what even is the thing? It's so strange, and I love it. Strider Bay. I always forget about this thing. Back inside of the main Nether Hub system, we have all of these portals that we're not going to go through yet. Respawn anchor over there, a room over there with something secret behind the wall. What will it be? Maybe you'll never know. And then over here, we have a big part of the nether hub, the bartering hall. The bartering hall is an automatic machine. I go up top, I put gold inside of there, and then the piglins barter with me forever. They love to do it. Over here, I have all of the things sorted out. Manual sorting inside of this thing. I always wanted to put an automatic sorting thing inside of the nether. I was planning on at one point making like a big bartering hall and then auto sorting and everything, but it just never really happened. Now, right behind the bartering hall is one of the main things of this series, one of the main things that I used. I was using this thing insanely recently, the gold farm. The gold farm is up here on top of the nether, also a shortcut over to the mesa portal, which is at those coordinates, is over that way, but the gold farm. The gold farm is one of my favorite builds inside of this world. We built the gold farm relatively early on in the series, relatively. And I love it. I got so much use inside of this world. 10 out of 10, making one of these things again. 0 out of 10, not ready for the grind, but it's got to be done. The gold farm. Relatively recently, we modified it. Added this enchanting setup inside of this thing. Now, the gold farm is missing a couple blocks of scaffolding, so we're going to have to use some just random blocks to get up. I accidentally broke the scaffolding, and I never put it back. But anyways, the gold farm. Up top, there are 3 rings of magma blocks. That's where the piglins spawn. I make the piglins mad, and they rush over to the center. It gets insanely noisy, but it's great. So much experience from this thing. Stand on this block right here, take the piglins out, profit down below. It's pretty sweet. There are no spawnable blocks up here, so it's insanely safe as well. Same with this room. The gold farm, and all of its noisy gloriousness, it also has an auto sorter hooked up to it. It makes it insanely easy to use. All of the drops are put inside of these chests. I need to trade this rotten flesh, but yeah, probably never going to get around to that one. But yeah, you know, pure profit. Gold beacon, insanely easy, and quickly too. All because of this thing. Before the guide series, I don't know if I ever really set up a gold farm. Pretty sure I didn't, and really quickly, after I started setting up gold farms, became my favorite farm. One of my favorite farms to have, like, out of all of them, is just so good. So back to the nether hub system. If we go down this hallway this way, not that long, eventually, excuse me, sir, you're in the way. Eventually, we're gonna find this, an unfinished hallway, except I didn't really need to finish this hallway. This is where I was fully legally importing boxes from. Very cool. But anyways, moving on. We keep going down this hallway. There's a turn, and then there's a small hub over here. This is the resource desert. For most of the projects, whenever I needed sand, I would come over to this spot. There's not much inside of the resource desert, but I did like the small vibe of this little hub. Resource desert it's a desert. I mean, there are mobs right there, but yeah, this is where I come and dig up sand. I actually, surprisingly, didn't dig out as much sand as I thought I would. I mean, it does kind of make sense if you think about the projects. Really, in the grand scheme of things, a lot of the projects aren't really like massive scale inside of this world, and they don't really use very much glass. But yeah, resource desert, sand. Alright, small zombie child, I'm just going to go ahead and leave you there. Now it's time to go back to the central nether hub. From the central nether hub, there's a completely different direction that we can go. That other direction is going to take us to all of the other major stops inside of the nether hub. That's where we're going to go next. Then we're going to come back to the center. Oh yeah, another cool thing about the nether hub, completely spawn proof. I made sure every single spot inside of this thing was spawn proof, so nothing can actually spawn in here and wander around. It's an insanely safe area. So the other hallway is this one. This one is insanely long. Has a couple different stops on it. This is the hallway that we started from, the flower forest base. That's why there was a flower in an item frame if you saw that. The next stop would technically be this spot right here, which we're going to come back to because that's the Tent Empire. Then next up we have the Stronghold one. The Stronghold one is really, to be honest, like basically nothing. There's a fox here though. Yeah, Stronghold 1 is basically nothing. I mean, it's just a box with a portal. Inside of the Stronghold, I mean, it's a literal stronghold. I had never ended up doing anything over here. I always wanted to dig this thing out all the way to the surface so I could, like, fly down into the portal. I thought that would be really cool. And then I also always wanted to set up an end outpost, but one of those things that we never got around to in this world. Silverfish, stop it. Go away. Alright, well, considering the Silverfish, I think that's it for the Stronghold. That's all there is to see here. Nothing. See, the tricky thing about a Minecraft world, at least for me, is they never really end. Like, you could really have a world that goes on forever and keep doing projects, so that makes it hard to, like, end a series, at least for me. That's always where I struggle. But anyways, the other thing inside of this hub, at the far end, is the Nether Fortress. I'm sorry. I'm realizing I just remembered my promise. What we were going to do before the end of the series inside of this thing, Wither Skeleton Farm, even if it was the last thing we would do, I said, well, we'll get to it. Alright, we'll get to it. The Nether Fortress. This is an insanely nice Nether Fortress. Now, going down to the ladder, the first thing that we land right inside of is the Blaze Farm. The Blaze Spawner Farm, love this thing. This is one of my favorite spawner farms. Pre-Gold Farm days, if I needed experience, this is where I would go. Also, if I needed fuel for large-scale projects, blaze rods, you know, 100%. This is the place to go to. It's a blaze farm, it's insanely safe, and also, it's hanging out over the lava ocean. This is one of the most stressful builds to build in the entire world. Going back up the ladder to this spot right here, the AFK spot to actually power this farm, we have the Nether Fortress. Inside of the Nether Fortress, nothing really. It's just a Nether Fortress. Small workstation right there. But yeah. Anyways, if you want to use the farm, you stand right here. Spawner turns on. Eventually, the blaze spawn, and they fall all the way down to the bottom. Go to the bottom, take them out. repeat. And of course, somewhere inside of that nether fortress is a wither skeleton farm. And so that does it. Nether hub. Aside from the hub at the 10th Empire, that's the entire nether hub. Next, we're going to go to the jungle base, the main base for a majority of the series. The central portal inside of the middle of the nether hub is the portal that takes us to the jungle base. In the series, we started out over at the Flower Forest base. Then, at episode 21, after we took out the dragon, we moved over here to the jungle base. The jungle base is definitely my favorite base that I've ever had. All over this base, there are pets. I always meant to move the pets out to the 10th Empire. The jungle base, the jungle base. So many good memories here. I love this base. This is so nice. There is so much to do with this base, like so many details. Like that ship over there doesn't work, hasn't worked in a long time. But this thing would light off fireworks. I think it stopped working actually on the episode 100 tour, which is kind of funny. But yeah, lights off fireworks every time it's like nighttime or something. And then this giant clock over there, the light turns on as soon as I can sleep too. This clock tower, one of my favorite builds in this entire world. I don't know, I'm just happy with the build. I feel like it turned out really nicely. I always wanted to turn those gold blocks to diamonds though. Gold is disgusting. It also always needed like a better way up and down. Nowadays, I would probably use like cave vines to get up and down. Cave vines might actually match the vibe of this building a little bit better. But up top is one of the best views in the entire jungle base. From up here, you can see basically everything. The giant temple that we built, the starter house right there, the boat, like literally everything. The cathedral over there, my favorite storage building ever. You can see everything from up here. There is also a very quick way out of the sig, which is the water right there. You can just jump out of the thing, land in the water. It's great. Now, over here is one of the forgotten builds of this series. It is an egg farm. The egg farm was always overflowing, and apparently still is. Eggs from this thing is really, really nice. I think that was maybe one of the last projects that I built inside the jungle. Maybe. I'm not too sure. This was the main food farm, another cow crusher, very innovative, I know, and then right behind it, the bamboo farm. Bamboo farm, overpowered as well, always overflowing, and also, it's kind of like lossless, or, it's not lossless, it spits bamboo out all the time, and it still overflows. Bamboo grows so fast. Yeah, like actually, the thing would overflow so much that I had to start adding storage like around this thing, and so all of these random spots over here, they're all like storage for even more bamboo. Bamboo is literally all over the place over here. Going back over this way, this farm was actually bee powered. The first bees inside of this world, we imported them over here, and this is where they lived. Eventually, they abandoned me. One of my original plans with the jungle base, or one of the things that I was thinking about originally, is having this spot right here, like where the cow crusher is, be the exact center of the base, and then everything is spread out around it. I thought it would be kind of cool, but obviously that didn't really end up happening. The base expanded that way a whole lot more because it was just easier to build down there. Now over this way, we have a couple builds. The trash tier sugarcane farm. I don't like this place, but for the tour's sake, we will come over here and check it out. Always needed a better one inside of this world. This thing is so slow. It's painful. It's not good. It's not big enough at all. This thing right here, the starter house for the jungle, became my new favorite house. To be honest, taking a look at the build, it's a pretty similar vibe to the starter house inside of the flower forest, but I actually ended up liking this one a little bit more. It's a little bit more open, a little bit more useful. I could stand here and start the episodes like I did a lot, and end the episodes. It was pretty cool. Right there is red, enchanting setup right there. A couple different trophies around this thing. And then the comment to the daybooks. The comment to the daybooks are scattered all over this world. There's some of them inside of the clock tower over there. Some of them inside of this building, obviously. Some of them inside of the 10th Empire. Like, really? They're literally everywhere. Oh, no. That's not good. Much better, much better. My resource pack made by Airvolt like a million years ago. Yeah, that's much better. So there's a map over here marking up the bases. As you can see here, where we're at, the green icon, actually pretty close, relatively speaking, to the starter house. It's on the same map, same ocean right there. You could easily get from one spot to the other. The ghetto, oh, we should go there. I completely forgot about that spot. This was the storage room inside of the jungle for like the longest time until I built the cathedral. Actually worked out like pretty well, better than the 10th Empire storage building, I would say. Anyways, moving on. Over this way, we have a water view. It's a boardwalk with the temple over there. Looks great at the sunset. The best villager that I've ever had of all time. Right here, Axolotl. Axolotl, I don't know if there will ever be a better villager than you, truly. Like, look at this thing. Mending right there. Mending right there. 1 emerald both times, which is like perfect. And then right here, name tag 2. We insanely discounted this thing. There's a secret passage underneath the building. Axolotl is a special villager. Every single mending tool that we have in the entire world all came through Axolotl right there. Very, very useful villager. Definitely need to get one of those. Like right off the bat in the new world, have mending like immediately. One of the things with the new series, the plan is to take things like way quicker. Like Iron Farm really soon, probably before episode 10, hopefully. And yeah, just do things like really quick so we can do big projects. Over here, this is a minecart unloader, and this goes down to the mines. If we go down to the mines, really, to be honest, there's not too much here, but we will go down there. So the mines just weed through a cave system over here that I think I've maybe never even finished fully lighting up. I think there are definitely still some dark spots over here, but the mine right here, it's a branch mine. You go down there, you mine for diamonds. I found diamonds here for sure, which was really nice. And then this thing, if I put blocks inside of it and send it up to the top, it'll stop and unload everything. The quick exit right here, so we can race it up, is a bubble column. The bubble column shoots right up to the surface of this thing, and then hopefully we beat the minecart. Did we beat it? You see it's gonna stop, unloads everything, and goes right back down to the bottom. Super convenient. A must-have. So for the longest time, this was kind of like a dead end for the base, but then eventually I added this ladder in. This ladder goes up here to one of my favorite builds that I have ever done, the temple right there. The temple is a massive temple. I think the footprint is maybe like 72 by 72. I think the temple is like 64 by 64 all the way up to the top, but then it's raised up, sits up on a higher platform. It was a huge project, like a really, really large scale project, by far the biggest one in the entire world. At the time of building this thing, I was planning on moving the series into more mega builds at this time, but then I never ended up actually doing it. Honestly, the scale of this project compared to the scale of the other projects in this world, it's just on a completely different level. Like, the scale of it is insane. Looking up at the build and climbing the staircase, you start to get a good sense of how big it is. And then the view up here, oh man, don't even get me started. The view up here is so good. You can see everything from here. The Panda Resort, and then over this way you can see all of the builds, or at least what you can see. If the render distance was higher, you'd be able to see them all. There we go, much better. Render distance at 32 now, and now you can definitely see everything. You can clearly see everything that you can see. The temple is tall and absolutely 100%. Of course, it has a use too. Its use is inside of the temple, so check it out. Anyways, moving on. There are a couple builds around the temple. With these next 3 builds, I never connected them up with a path because they were always meant to be the side of the base. Over here, first up, a villager breeder. They get to work up top. The children is born. The children goes down below, waits to grow up, and then I give them a job around the jungle. This building right here, really, really close, is the snow farm. I was planning on actually using the snow farm for a lot more builds. The white snow block, it looks like really, really good in my opinion. And yeah, I was going to use it for even more builds. You stand here, shovel the snow, get snowballs right inside of that thing. I think there's there's extra stuff that I left here. The snow farm. It's a really simple build, but it's also a build that I really like the design of. Like the glass and everything, you can just see right through it. I don't know. I really like it. It's simple, like I said, but I like it a lot. I don't even remember why I had that dirt block right there. I think I had a villager trapped in there for like the longest time. Maybe that's why, but clearly no villager inside of there right now, so I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll put it back though. And then finally, over here for builds that are disconnected from everything else, we have something right up here. I don't even remember what this thing was for, to be honest. So going up the pathway, we have a path around the building. Alright, so that's a thing right there. What was this even for? I do remember building this, but like, what did I use this thing? Oh, you know what it is? It's the hero of the village farm. The hero of the village farm. Yeah, this is one of those things that I completely forgot about. There's a bunch of villagers in there. I come here with the hero of the village effect, stand right here, and they just give me free things, like over and over and over again. In the next world, gonna make a raid farm for sure, and set one of these things up on a larger scale. So many free things. It's so nice. Over here is kind of a cool view of the Panda Resort. Gigantic panda statue right there, and then Resort Island. It's a project that we started and then actually had to ditch because 1.17 released sooner than I thought. Kind of like 1.18. I mean, I guess to be fair with 1.18, they always said before the end of the year, and it makes sense, like November 30th, right before the end of the year, but I don't know. I guess I just lost track of time. So the jungle, it's not entirely spawn-proof, actually. Spawns can happen in here, but I tried to go crazy with, like, leaves and stuff and make it safe near the main path. But because the jungle was never spawn-proof, I always tried to sleep, like, insanely consistently inside of the jungle, so I never really got to see, like, nighttime very much inside of this base or anything like that. I do like the vibes from this base inside of the nighttime, though, because the light all over the place, like the shroom lights in the trees, I think it just looks nice. Like, it's really, really cool, but also insanely dangerous. So, next up, we have this main part of the jungle base. This is kind of like the center of the jungle base, except it's not the center at all, but it's kind of like the center, if you know what I'm saying. Iron farm up there, it's absolutely amazing. It's a beast. It runs constantly, and there's a map over here of the jungle base. Map walls. Map walls are one big thing, so simple that I never got around to in this world. Next world, definitely going to do that for sure. Oh yeah, cursed vines all over the place, and then this, the fog over there, it's actually a chemical. You can't actually touch the pink, or you will take damage instantly. I really like this build. One of my favorites in the entire world still. Jungle beacon right over here under the water. It's an iron beacon. It's gray because it's an iron beacon. And there's dirt down there.
Enderman all over this place.
I can't remember what I called this thing. I swear I had a name for this area over here, like a nickname or something, because villagers all over this spot. So this is one of the villagers. Big Mike right here that sells paper. The paper salesman, very cool. Good view, very luxurious house. And then up top, up top, which I actually can't even get up. Up top, I don't think I actually ever ended up putting anything up here. This house was a little bit more decorative other than the main floor. One of the goals inside of this base and inside of this world, oh yeah, another balcony right there, but one of the goals inside of this world was a single villager for every single profession. So over here is the fisherman. I don't think the fisherman ever had a name, at least I didn't name tag it. It's a fisherman, it lives there, and actually it does kind of have a nice view right here, looking out at the lake, which is kind of nice, like lake view. Also, I don't know if I ever said, but I always wanted to put a creeper vase or something on the side of that cliff right there, just like Etho. I grew up watching Etho, tons of Etho inspiration. And yeah, creeper face right there, looking out at the ship, at the base. I thought it would have been really cool, but I never did it. Kind of like with 10th Empire and the old man on the rock that I wanted to put there. So that's the fisherman building. The next building over here is the string salesman. This one is where you can make so much profit. So technically, it's a Fletcher villager. Down below the Fletcher villager's house is a basement. In the basement is the poisonous spider farm. I think it's poison spiders. This is one of those builds that I set up in the world and then really didn't use very much at all. Definitely poison. No, maybe this is just normal spiders. Yeah, this is definitely just normal spiders. You stand here, the normal spiders come over to you, you take them out, string, take it up to the surface, sell it to the fisherman. It's really nice. Why is it not working? I think it's trying. I promise it worked at one point. Oh, I heard it right as I was leaving. I was giving up hope. Yep. Oh yeah, look at that. It's nighttime, so I can definitely sleep, and the clock is on right now. In the daytime, it'll be off. Here it is, it's daytime, and the clock tower is off. How does it work? Redstone or magic? I'm not too sure which one. So anyways, moving on. Up here, we have the spy. Stationed over here by Storage Cathedral, my favorite storage building ever. I never got to build the storage building that I was going to build inside of the jungle. Or 10th Empire. Oh my gosh, the pets inside of this world. Pam right there. Pam is Pam, and then Cash, and then all of the other pets. Rosie, Franklin, Agent 72. The pets. And there's one more back there. Always meant to move them, yeah. Storage Cathedral is probably the build that I'm most proud of inside of this entire world. I mean, it's a gigantic storage building, my favorite storage building ever. Insanely easy to use too, because it's so open. I can run over there and then over there and over there. Never ended up building the storage building concept that I had for the 10th Empire. I think I was planning on like a sky thing or something, or a gigantic dome thing. I thought it would have been really cool. Never got around to it though, but yeah, this storage building, my favorite thing. Storage buildings are honestly one of my favorite things to build in a survival world. I feel like they're so functional, and really they're just fun to build, and then they end up looking really cool after, because the item frames are so detailed looking. I love storage buildings. They're really fun to build. Over here we have the back entrance, which is the favorite entrance that I have. Perfect spiral door right there. It's so good every single time. It never gets old. Over here is a newer extension of the jungle base. But over this way first, we have the panda experiment that was going on here. I was trying to get every single type of panda inside of the jungle. I actually ended up getting a lot of the types of pandas, but definitely not all of them. There are still more types of pandas that I need to get. Never ended up getting them. Over here is the highway over to the panda resort island. If I had duplicate pandas, instead of taking them out, of course, I would never do that. That's a monster. The plan was pretty simple. If I breed a panda and get a panda I don't need, I send them over here to a peaceful life, relaxing by the giant panda statue and this forest over here. The panda comes over here in a minecart, jumps out of the minecart right there, and then they all apparently leave the island. I guess I just didn't really exactly get it perfect here, but yeah, they all abandon the island. The island is kind of cool though, bamboo all over the place, tall trees, and then this little outpost over here. It's nice, but the pandas just don't really like it. Over here is a breeding spot for even more pandas if I wanted to. Never really used it though. This project and actually the wool factory over here inside of the jungle are both projects that I almost never finished. I ended up coming back here thanks to all of you. You asked for the projects to actually be finished, something I'm kind of bad about, so I came back over to the jungle, finished up the projects, and now they're finished. Original plan for the panda resort was actually a little bit grander though. Originally I was thinking custom trees for sure, maybe a building or two, baby panda statue. It was going to be like a really big project, but we had to stop it because that's when 1.17 dropped. Up this hill, right next to the storage building, is this farm right here. I built this for 1.17 prep. Originally, I was going to stay at this base, then I decided to ditch it. This would have been amazing. It's actually overflowing right now. Honeycomb. This bee factory right here, and it's not even anywhere near full. Like, there are only probably like, I don't know, I would say maybe 10 bees inside of this thing. Clearly, there could be way more, 3 bees per thing right there. Yeah, honeycomb. Honeycomb factory for all of the candles that I actually... I don't think I've ever made a single candle inside of this world. And I love them. They're so cool. Right next to the bee building is the enchanting building. And this is an enchanting building that I set up like a proper one for the jungle base. Enchanting setup right there. Then we have a spiral staircase that goes up to the top. Spiral staircase, climbing the tower all the way to the top of the thing, leads to basically nothing. An okay view of the jungle. You can see all that stuff over there. You can't really see too much over here because of all the trees. It's an okay view. And then enchanted tool storage. This is stuff that I didn't really need, but for whatever reason, I was like hoarding this stuff. Like, what was I ever going to do with this stuff? I have no clue, but I kept it. Diamond boots could be cool, though. Oh, yeah, no, I take it back. Curse of Binding, not cool at all. I don't know why I kept that stuff. Well, actually, I'll tell you why I kept it. It's because I hoard everything. Down here is an enchanting setup that is pretty cool. You can hit the lever, take some books away so you can get different enchantments. It's kind of neat. This is where we did a lot of the main enchanting, and also over here, kind of useful potentially, enchanting guidebooks. This one I never made a fancy title page for, but this one, oh, it is so fancy right here. The whole, like, table of contents and everything, and then the enchantments that I try and get on every single thing. It's pretty useful, especially if you kind of are lost when it comes to, like, what you're trying to put on your tools. Check it out. It's kind of nice. There's also a smithing table for upgrading to nether right here, and an anvil. So over here, behind Storage Cathedral, is a little bit of a newer expansion to the jungle base. Kind of. As new as it could get over here. So we have this cactus farm right here. It's automatic. It's running still. Never filled up quite yet, but if I stayed here, definitely would have ended up filling up. The wool factory that we almost never finished, but thankfully we did. Inside of this thing, giant sheep up there. I really like this wool factory. So much sheep up there. Even more sheep down here. I could, like, recolor them, I was thinking, for, like, big projects. Like, I wanted to build, like, hot air balloons inside of this world, and if I needed maybe, like, a lot of lime, I could dye them all lime, get lime really quickly. Or, of course, having this thing running constantly, and then the design of this thing. Really happy with the aesthetics that I ended up coming up with inside of this build. I feel like if I ended up finishing this build initially, how I planned, it wouldn't have turned out this good. I'm just, like, really happy with how it turned out. I think it looks really nice. I was gonna hook up an auto sorter on the back of this thing, but I never actually ended up doing it. It's overflowing. Definitely. I waited for the longest time to make a wool farm inside this world because I wanted to go, like, to the max on it. I always knew it, and this was my idea of to the max. I think it is definitely way more wool than I would have ever needed, and then this right here, with being able to re-dye them to get even more faster, I thought it was all a pretty good idea, except I built it too late. I waited way too long to build the wool farm, because we built this thing, and then we didn't even finish it, and we left the base, basically. Over here, we have the pig farm, which I don't use. Taking out pigs, it is cruel. And then inside of this thing, H, the peasant. H all over the floor. Come on, clean up the place. Like, really? Like, come on. They buy sweet berries, though. So that's H. I tend to avoid H. Over here, sweet berry farm. Automatic. The fox is hard at work inside of this thing. Or just standing around eating berries. One of the two. Automatic sweet berries. For H. All of this area over here is all about pure profit. Billboard right there. I like how that turned out. I can vividly remember building this build and watching Markiplier play a game. I don't even remember the game, but it was really good. So shout out to Markiplier, our boy. And Sweet Berry Farm. There are so many sweet berries inside of this thing, and this is smaller than I actually initially planned on building this thing. I wanted this thing to go, like, far, like, through all of those cliffs, like, I'd take them out or something like that, but then I kind of realized midway through the project, yeah, maybe I'm going, like, a little overkill on this one, and, yeah, it's just already more sweet berries than I would ever need, like, rows and rows and rows. I don't even know how many plants are here. I think I maybe harvested this thing fully, like, maybe, I don't know, like, twice or something. It gets a lot of berries. I think I took the berries and then sold them to H and used the emeralds for something, or maybe I didn't. I'm not too sure. This is the fox exhibit. The foxes live inside of here. I really like this place. There are foxes all over the place. I think they're just the orange fox, or is there a snow fox in here? There is a snow fox inside of here, sleeping and eating berries at the same time. That's the life for sure. Inside of this thing, it's just really a cave skylight inside of that thing. I'm really happy with this build, though. I like how it ended up, and look at this, perfect timing. It's nighttime, so the foxes are alive. I hope you're doing well. It's been so long, I'm sorry. The exit to this thing makes me insanely anxious, though, because I feel like every single time I open this, foxes would always try and get in and out of it, so I built it, and then I never really came over to it. I should have made, like, a bigger window or something so we could see inside of it. Oh no, I found a, a problem. I slept in the bed right here, and I'm stuck inside of the jungle base. That's never happened before. Interesting. Don't sleep in that bed. Anyways, for the jungle base, that's not all of it quite yet. But that's, like, basically most of it. There are a couple more builds that we need to take a look at. We'll do a little bit of off-roading to shortcut over to the build. So over here is a small path behind the cactus farm, and it leads right over to the creeper farm. This creeper farm is amazing. It gets so much gunpowder really quickly, and I never even actually finished lighting up all of the caves in this area. It's also a string farm, which is kind of cool. Down this way, there it is, the monster. So that's Birb. Birb tried to open up a gateway to the underworld inside of this world. Long story, not very good. Long saga. Definitely recommend checking out the episodes to figure it out. Pumpkins inside of there, which is pretty cool. And then Bird Tower, the treehouse. Originally, the creeper farm was going to be way high up in the air, and it was going to drop all of the drops inside of this building. Then I ended up scrapping that, but I already committed to the jungle treehouse, so didn't really know what to do with the thing. Instead, I put parrots all over the thing. That's Marcus right there. If we go up here, that's Blue. I think I gave you a... No, it's Bro. That's Bro. All right, then we keep going up here, and then we have Jack sitting on the edge right there. I think those are all the parrots that I ended up getting. No quick exit, so we jump out of the treehouse over to the tree farm. This is a tree farm. It's pretty simple. They're just growing paths right there. Not too bad. Moving this way, we have the iron farm right there again, right in the middle of this area. I love that build. And then we have the warp farms and the crimson one. The warp farms, I really like the design of the builds, but the function, it's not there. Getting all of the wood from these farms on a large scale, very, very painful. It's slow. You can only grow one tree at a time, then you chop it down over and over and over again. Painful, not good. For the builds, the scale that I was working with inside of this world, yeah, it wouldn't have worked out very good. And the scale isn't even like massive. If I was building like a huge thing, like giant temples all over the place, yeah, it would have been really bad. Zombie conversion hall over here. We bring a villager over here, push it to the zombie. The zombie turns it over, then I heal it, repeat it, and I get really, really cheap prices. Hit this thing to keep track of how many times I've done it. And this is how you get mending for 1 emerald. It's amazing. Same with name tags and everything like that. It's so nice. It's also insanely broken. Definitely shouldn't work like that, but it does. The zombie cabin in the woods. This is a zombie farm over here in the jungle. I can stand in this area right here in the zombie spawner. Look at this thing. It's actually already working. Sends the zombie up. Drops right there. I take the zombie out, and then I can actually turn around and sell the rotten flesh to this villager right there for this stuff. I never even got this villager all the way up to the master level. Or discounted the villager. If I discounted that thing even more, like heal it up a couple times, the prices would be even better. One of the goals in this world, a beacon of every single type, and I was moving to set everything up inside of the jungle so I could easily like speed run a bunch of emeralds insanely quickly with all of the villagers in the farm setup. Kind of cool. Over here, this building is Paul's house. Paul built it himself. It's an outpost. It's very great looking. Paul is a pillager, except the pillager's been pacified. Paul, my guy. Looking strong as ever. So it's an outpost. It's an exact recreation of an outpost, except this time I put different things inside of it. Kind of made it a little bit more homey, a little bit more outposty, a little bit more Paul-y. Pauly? Yeah. Made it more Pauly. Up top, there's this table up here. This is the current and forever edge of the jungle. So the view of the jungle from one side of this thing is this right here. The temple in the distance with the fog. I think it looks really cool. And the jungle base. I'm pretty sure that's it, actually. Other than the gateway over here, interdimensional gateway that Birb was setting up, that's a thing. Very dangerous. Never climb staircases you find in the woods, you know. But other than that, I think that's it. I think that's the entire jungle base. Wow. Now it's time to leave. Okay, this is emotional. Oh, yes, that's right. Yellow was right here, too. As you can tell, I'm really good with names. And Floof. Floof. I don't even remember naming that thing that, to be honest. All right, so that's it. That's the jungle base. I think it's been completely shown off. Hopefully I didn't miss anything. Next base. Here we are, back inside of the nether hub. Now to get over to the current base, the 10th Empire, we go in this hallway over here with the nether bricks and go down, like, a long ways. This hallway is insanely difficult to stop in. I have fence gates at the intersections, and of course I got it that time, but that's like a one-off instance. So, this nether hub, this one, I really, really like this one. So up top, it doesn't really appear to be too much. It's just like a hallway or something, until you actually go down inside of the nether hub, or even better, take a look at this thing from the outside. So finally, a good look at this thing from the outside. It's a ball hanging from the ceiling on a chain. Pretty cool idea, entirely made out of glass. But it gets even better, because next to it, a sword. A gigantic sword. Also hanging from the ceiling on a chain, going into the lava. I like this nether hub. I like it a lot. From the inside of the thing, this is what it looks like. It's pretty cool. There's soul sand under the floor that makes you move slow. I didn't even consider that. But yeah, the sword right here looks pretty cool. It goes all the way down to the lava ocean. That's the current ancient debris mine. And then this one. This is like the central hub. The plan was to have a bunch of these things hanging all over the place. And there's nothing really here. It's just another hub. If we were to climb back up through the thing, go over the hallway, and then go down the next ladder, we move into the sword. Now, the sword really doesn't have much inside of it. There is a stopping point right here where you can stand and, like, kind of, like, look around in the nether. Really not much of a view, though. If we keep going down, we have the window right here, and then eventually we're going to sink below the lava ocean. Below the lava ocean right here, we're going through it, and then finally, actually below it, we have a small room. This small room is just a central hub, small room, and then eventually we have hallways. These hallways go out this way, and then ancient debris mining all over the place. There's tons of quartz here if you need quartz. I'm curious, are any of you actually planning on, like, taking this world and continuing the survival experience? Because if you are, like, that's really cool. And if you actually end up taking the world and then changing any of the builds, like, send me screenshots on Twitter, definitely. I love to see this stuff. And yeah, if you do the download, I hope you enjoy the world. So, next up, the 10th Empire. The 10th Empire is our most recent base. This was the 1.17 base. Originally, the plan was come over here temporarily and live for a little while. Then the plan changed, and I said, you know what? I'm actually really enjoying this place, and I feel like it feels weird to go back to the 1.16 base, so I decided to stay here. I stayed inside of this base from episode 122 until the last one, so actually, 50 episodes, perfectly. 51 if you want to count the tour, but I don't know. I don't really count tours. Tent Empire is based around this really cool rock that I found when exploring in 1.16. The plan was to build like an old man on this thing. It would have a calcite beard, cool eyes on top of the thing, and then maybe inside of it like a storage room or just something cool. I'm not too sure, but yeah, definitely like an old man with like a beard looking over at the base. Thought it would have been sweet. This base, I tried to get a little bit more, like, creative, adventurous with the builds. We have Crazy Cow Sphinx right there, the orb, of course, the orb, you know, like, just interesting, different looking builds. Those things, too. What are they? I don't know, like, it's like Easter Island or something. But anyways, the Tent Empire. So it all starts right here with this tent. That's the Tent Empire right there. We have a little bit of storage inside of this thing, and then that's really it. That was the start of this base. Over here, the Sweet Berry Barn. Always meant to turn the roof to copper. I did it, I promise, definitely. Over here, this door broke. A zombie ravaged it in the nighttime. Extra storage for the mining area, which is right over here. The mining operation, a crane. I love this build right here. And then the mines. If we jump down here, we're going to land in water. And now we're inside of the mines. It's a small setup down here. Oh, is that a slime? Oh, that's a slime that I hear. This is a slime chunk. That's really cool. Recently, we set up a slime farm. Final big project up over here at the base. There's another slime chunk. I didn't even know this was a slime chunk. That's cool. I'm going to miss this world a lot. I am really going to miss this world a lot. I was really considering actually keeping this world into 1.18, like just continuing it, working on this base, because this is the Caves and Cliffs base after all, but the generation changes are just so big, and the caving changes too. And also, like I said in the last episode, I feel kind of weird about making a guide in 1.18 when it's all like new stuff. I would much rather just take away the pressure of a guide in 1.18 and just play the game, like experience it, figure out the new mechanics, everything like that. So that's what we're gonna do. Auto smelter right here. It's an auto smelter. Over this way, we go up to a path with a farm. This path with the farm has an orb by the orb. Inside of the orb. You really thought I was going to show off the orb in this episode, didn't you? Don't tell me that was the only reason you came here. The orb? You thought I was going to show off the inside of the orb in the episode. You're crazy. This is a farm. Up top is a lever. If I go and hit this lever, the farm is going to be harvested fully. I'm not going to replant the farm right now. I'll get around to it, I promise. But yeah, water pours out. The trapdoors open up. Hit the lever again. Water goes away. Then I run around the farm, manually collect everything. Try not to do that. Really difficult to do with this farm. And then I plant everything. It's pretty cool. It gets me a lot of wheat, like really quickly. Around the Great Orb, which originally I was going to convert over to copper. Changed my mind though. I like Deep Slate. Deep Slate is great, so I was just going to keep it as Deep Slate. But anyways, around the Great Orb, we have the Minor Orbs. The Minor Orbs are a little bit smaller. And I have so many seeds that my inventory is full. I can't even pick up the rest of them. The farm is great. Right next to the Great Orb and the crop farm is another build that I really want to do early on in the next world. It's a tree farm. The tree farm is pretty self-explanatory. This is a way better tree farm than the jungle-based one. Plant the trees right there, chop the trees down. The water takes care of picking up all of the saplings, or like 90% of them for me. Throws it inside of this chest. Amazing. Definitely a must-have. I would have never ran out of saplings ever again, which is great. Back over this way, going down this path, we have Crazy Cow Sphinx. Oh yeah. And the Deep Slate farm, or Dripstone. Yeah, it's Dripstone. The Dripstone farm. It surely doesn't look like much, but it's a Dripstone farm. It grows Dripstone for me, for free too. It's great stuff. Over here is Crazy Cow Sphinx. This is an insane cow farm. 3 cow crushers, all linked up to the same chest on that side. On this side, so much leather, so much beef, and so much noise. I had a lot of fun working on this build though. At first, Crazy Cow Sphinx was just crazy. Eventually, it became angry. I did the great upgrade to upgrade a bunch of stuff, like the tools, the gear, stuff like that. And then it just stayed angry still, because angry looks so cool. Like, this is sweet looking. Yes, one of the most impressive things about this place over here, in the center of the lake, over here at the Tent Empire, a basalt generator. Absolute machine for sure. I always wanted to build a bigger one, like an actual genuine machine inside of this world. Never did it. Also, underneath this lake is a zombie spawner, like perfect positioning for a farm. I just never used it. Over here is Grim. Grim is the starter house or starter castle for this area. Grim is nice. I mean, I like the decoration of the interior of Grim. We have a kitchen over here, a small table right there, small closet right there, the storage building over here, which is organized in a way, but in other ways, not organized at all. I could never remember what I was keeping where, and then I kind of forgot about these barrels, to be honest, but it's a storage room. Definitely, if I was going to keep this world longer, would have needed to expand that thing soon. This is the treasure room with all the valuable stuff inside of this world that I have right now. Or I guess actually it's kind of split into 2 spots. That's some of the valuable stuff. The other stuff is inside of the cathedral. This is George's room. This is the top balcony. It's not exactly the best view, but it's a nice view. You can see the slime farm from here, the wool factory, the chateau over there, the iron farm. You can see like basically everything over here at this base. If we keep going up the tower, we have a floor that I actually never ended up coming up with a use for. And then an even better view. Up here, we can see even more of the phantom farm right there. The orbs over there. Like, you can see everything from up here. It's a cool view. The goal with Grim was pretty simple. 1.17 was new, it was fresh, it was a beginning of a new era. Deep Slate was added in 1.17, the best stuff in the game, of course, as we know. The goal with Grim, use Deep Slate and the different types of Deep Slate and make a build that is at least passable. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I passed, but you be the judge of that. Anyways, the enchanting room up here. Enchanting room inside of Grim, amethyst ceiling, of course, 1.17, and then a small balcony with a map, which is actually number 64. Kind of perfect. But of course, the whole time you're wondering about my dripstone amounts, well, this chest, nope. This chest, nope. One of these chests is dripstone. Right there, 48 plus 2 more, 50. 50. We'll leave it at that. Over here is the courtyard. The sweet berry farm that does not grow sweet berries. Of course, I know I could bone meal this up. Of course. I'm talking sweet berries that just regrow on their own. It doesn't work for some reason. Over here is Modus. Modus is Modus, and then there's a bird in there. I don't think I ever gave it a name. We'll call it, Yellow. That's Yellow. Oh, yes, just in time. The iron farm over here. The iron farm is a recent addition over here. This thing is great. I love the iron farm. This is the villager house right there. It's, finished, I promise. And then this, the phantom farm. I really like the phantom farm, but the Enderman left grass on top of it. Thanks, Enderman. The Endermen in this world are really all over the place. Like at the jungle base, all over the place inside of the caves, placing blocks everywhere. And then at this base too, they're starting to pop up. Like, what is even going on with the Enderman? Up top, phantom farm. You stand up here at nighttime when you don't sleep for a long time, take the phantoms out. It's pretty cool. I have a lot of phantom membrane, like way more than I would ever need. And look at this. Up here, we're taller than the iron farm. I think this is the tallest build in this area. Whenever I build a tower and it turns out nicely, like the clock tower in this thing, I am really happy with it. Just now, I'm kind of realizing how similar this is to the clock tower. Didn't even realize that at the time. Like, it's pretty similar in style. But yeah, really happy with that build. Over here, the potion building. Potions are another thing that I never ended up getting to as much as I wanted to in this world. At one point, genuinely, I was planning on building an auto potion brewer for like every single type of potion like Etho has. Like, it was going to be sweet. Never did it though. We've been in this building a lot recently for making potions, and that's literally all this building is meant for. You make potions, and look at this. You see what I was saying? Phantom membrane. Over a stack of this stuff, who would even need that much? Nobody does. Trick question. Iron farm. It's still the iron farm floating in the air. They drop to this spot right here, and then the iron goes inside of that chest. I moved even more of the iron over here into this chest because it filled up. Going back over this way, one thing that I do really like about this base is the terraforming. One thing that I'm kind of bad about is I do a build and then I forget to terraform the area around it, even though I know the terraforming around a build like is finishing the build basically. I just kind of like don't do it, but in this area, in this base, I did it, and I really like how it turned out. The villager building, like I said, it's finished fully, and then terraforming over here, came back a little bit later and terraformed this up, and I just think it looks really, really good. One of my goals for the next world is do a build, terraform all around the build, and make the base like look finished from the start. Hopefully I can do that. The Haunted Chateau. Out of the builds that we've been looking at today, this is another one of my favorite builds in the entire world. I go inside of this thing, it's a haunted house, completely ruined, destroyed. What happened here? Some kind of terrible incident. The floor fell all the way through and exposed the spawner down here. This is a skeleton spawner farm that is also the best spawner farm in the entire world. There's a noise. How does it work? I have no clue. The lights turn on. The spawner doesn't work anymore. In 1.18, because of the new spawning rules, it will definitely still work. But in 1.17, it doesn't. All spawns are cut out. I can turn it back on or off, depending on how you want to look at it, and skeletons will start spawning. They'll spawn, they'll be moved over to this elevator, shot all the way up to the top, and then dropped over right here. I take them out really easily. Small skull on the back. I feel like that definitely makes the build. Enchanting setup over here. Storage on this wall. There's a little bit of stuff here. Skeleton spawner farm. The best and most complete spawner farm in this entire world. So Grim and the Tent Empire. At nighttime, over around the base is actually insanely safe. I did a pretty decent job at lighting up everything. It's not perfect, but I did pretty good. Over here, the forest, though, very dangerous. There are some torches in the forest, but once you're at the outskirts of this base, very dangerous at nighttime. Now, there is one thing set up over at this base that is completely disconnected from this thing. To get to it, basically go to the chateau and then run straight out this way. You're going to run straight out this way for a little while, and then eventually, you're going to see a tower. The tower is that thing right over there. The tower leads to the maxed out aesthetic geode. Aha, so tower right there, ladder on the ground, it goes down under the ground, and the geode. I went for the aesthetics here. I took a geode that was new in 1.17, super excited about them. I still love them. I think it's a really cool idea, and I hope one day the devs do more with like things like geodes. But anyways, I took a geode, cleared out an area around it, decorated it up, made it look really good. Need better ways to block spawns up there for sure, but the geode, look at this thing. It's like a geode carved out for mining in here. This thing needs to be harvested clearly, so hopefully somebody does that. The geode, it's a literal floating geode, an excavation site. This is definitely a build that I would do again, but like in a different style, of course. But like I really like this concept, the geode, and also it was by a mine shaft too, so it was like perfect. The geode, fully excavated, water around it. I think it's so cool. In hindsight, 1.17, some of the best things about the update, deep slate for sure, that's got to be in there, but also geodes. Geodes are insanely unique, a completely different way to get something in the game, and I like them. I feel like they add a lot to the underground, and it's just such a cool concept. I kind of hope that one day maybe the developers could expand it. Like, imagine Amethyst Geode and just Amethyst in general being expanded to like 2 more colors. You have purple right now. Maybe you add like a yellow one exposed to some gas or something. And then, I don't know, like a lime one too. Lime could be pretty cool. They make different noises, but they functionally do basically the same thing. I think it could be cool. And add just a little bit more to the underground. Maybe different colors or different rarity levels too. I don't know. Back over at the proper base, here we have Wool Factory 2.0, one of the first big things that we did over here at 10th Empire. It's a wool farm that actually works right from the beginning. So much wool. Behind this thing, I was going to set up an auto sorter. I never ended up doing it, but it's a wool factory. I really like how the build turned out. The scale of this build is like pretty big. The plan was to do more of this scale of builds over here at this base, like all big builds, like that one. This one is kind of smaller, but like big. The tower is a little bit bigger. Yeah, I wanted to do big builds over at this base. Going back this way, past the wool factory, we have the nether portal that goes back to the nether hub, and we have this area right over here. This is the exit for the slime farm, which apparently is doing insanely well. That makes sense. And then the actual slime farm itself. The slime farm is one of those builds that I did the terraforming around. Like, it actually finished up and looked good. This is what I want to do in the next series. Super excited for that. And then over here, the slime farm. It's just a slime farm. Slime chunk fully cleared out, all the way down to the bottom of the chunk, exposed to the air. Slime spawn on there. They jump off of the side of the thing. They fall. Slime farm. King Slime over there in the back, and actually, this is the only slime farm in the entire world. We've been in the world for over a year, and only built this thing recently. 10th Empire. Wow. I think that's basically it, and Minecraft Guide Season 3. I think that's it, too. I think we've looked at everything. Well, almost everything. Advancements. How did I do when it comes to advancements inside of this world? I mean, I would feel like I did pretty well. There are a couple advancements inside of here, obviously, that I didn't get, but I got a lot of the advancements in this world. I got many advancements. Yeah, there are some that I didn't get, but like a lot of the advancements I did take care of inside of this world, which is pretty cool. Wait. Actually, take a look at this one right here. Be prepared to be impressed. So we start there, go all the way through, fully finished. I did all of the advancements in the game. Right now, in this world, it is day 2001. Wow, 2,000 days in a Minecraft world. That's what it's like. And then finally, statistics. I like literally never look at the statistics inside of this world. I'm going to go ahead and show them off right here and slowly scroll through them so you can take a look at them. 2001 days in a Minecraft world, over a year, and this is what it's going to look like, at least for me and how I play. Yeah, so much statistics. Look at all these numbers. Like, this is crazy. A couple insane looking ones. Jumps, 294,143. Like, that's insane. Interactions with crafting table, almost 6K right there. And then the distance, like, moved and all of this kind of stuff right in there. So those are the general statistics, the item statistics. Not going to scroll through them all, but we'll look at the biggest one. Stone right there by far. The netherrack did a lot of work in the nether in this world. Times broken. Stone shovels, that definitely makes sense. Crafted. Planks, spruce planks too, of course, the best type of wood. And it's not even close too. Like, look at that. Like, that's literally double. That's insane. I guess I used a lot of spruce. This stuff, oh, is that 3 million? No, that's 100. Okay. How it bleeds together, that almost completely threw me off. I guarantee picked up, it's probably stone, right? Oh, no, cobblestone. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And then dropped netherrack for sure. Who wants that trash? And mobs over here. These are the mobs. I'll scroll through all of these ones. I've never been killed by a chicken, which is pretty good. I actually never died at all in this entire world, which is pretty crazy and impressive. If you look at all of this, never, over and over and over again. Never, for every single thing in here. Not to brag or anything like that, but yeah, 0 deaths the entire series. It's pretty crazy. If you ever thought you saw one, it might have been your mind, like tricking you or something like that. Genuinely, I hope you can read the word never, because I never died. Let's see, is there anyone inside of here, though, that I never took out? Like, I know definitely I never took out a Zoglin in this world. Is Zoglin inside of this thing? I don't see a Zoglin. That's weird. Apparently, by these statistics, maybe they just add the things as I take them out. I don't know. Minecraft Guide Season 3 and the Minecraft Guide for now. That's it. That's the entire tour. Which project was your favorite? Again, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for watching the series, interacting with it, enjoying it, consuming it. The series wouldn't be where it is and made it so far without all of you, so thank you. I had a lot of fun making this series. By far, this was definitely my favorite series to make. I had so much fun in this world, and I feel like my best building that I've ever done has been done in this world. Over the past few years, I've also had a ton of fun working on the guide concept. It's been pretty cool to experience the game, kind of from a little bit of a different perspective, and I feel like I've learned a lot from this series. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one and all of the other ones too. On the end card of this video will be the playlist of this series. If you'd like to start from the beginning and binge it all, I mean, I salute you. Thank you. That really helps, and I appreciate it. Super excited for what's coming next. Keep your eyes out for it. November 30th, 2021 is the beginning of a new era. I'd like to send a huge thank you to two of my longest term patrons, Ground Crazy May and Archangel. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you all for watching this series, and until next time, go have a good day. I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye, everyone.